This is the first video of the programming in Perl series. We need to have the Perl interpreter and Visual Studio Code installed. In the extension section, we search for Code Runner, which allows us to run code from multiple languages in the terminal. Click Install. Click Trust Publisher and Install, and wait for the installation process to finish. Next, we need an extension for syntax highlighting. We search for the extension Better Perl Syntax by Jeff Hyken. This provides an appropriate color theme for Perl language syntax. Next, we click Install, then Trust Publisher and Install. We wait until the installation finishes, and then we are ready to continue. Now we switch to Explorer on the left sidebar and close the last extension window. Then we open the previously created folder. Example 1 is Hello World. Perl is a programming language developed by Larry Wall in 1987. The latest version was released 6 months ago. We open the first PL file, which contains the print instruction and the Hello World message. We select the line to execute and right-click. Then we choose Run Code. A terminal window opens and executes the selected line. The entered message is printed correctly. At the top we have a line called shebang, which allows the file to be executed automatically from the terminal as a script. We clear the output and close the terminal. Then we also close the example 1 file to keep our workspace clean. In example 2, we show declarations in the stack and in the heap. Perl is not as strict as C or C++, but it still has local scope. We have a first segment representing the stack and a second one representing the heap. In the first, we declare a variable with my. We write the variable name preceded by a $sign and assign the value 10, which is a scalar. Then we print it. In the second segment, we also declare a local variable, but we do not assign a scalar. Since it is heap-based, it needs a reference. We create the reference using a backslash and declare an anonymous variable. This reference is equivalent to a pointer in other languages. With this anonymous reference, we can now assign scalar values to the dynamic variable. In this case, we assign the value 20. Then we print the value held by the variable, but since it is a reference, we must dereference it using a $sign. The Code Runner extension can execute selected lines, but it can also run the entire program using the play icon at the top. The terminal opens again and prints the values 10 for the local scope and 20 for the dynamic scope. We close the terminal and program. In example 3, we see the equivalence between pointers and references. Perl does not handle memory addresses, but we can use IDs. These IDs help us reason about references instead of physical addresses. We declare variable b with scalar 10, then a as a reference to b. C is a reference to a, which is a double pointer. For references, we use the backslash. D is a copy of pointer a referencing b. We print the value of b and its address using refatter. Then we print a, which is b's address and a's own address. Now we print the content of a, which is a dereference of a. We print c, which is the address of a, using refatter. Then we print the address of c and the content of c, which is the dereference of c, or the address of a double dereference gives b. Next we print the dereference of c twice, which resolves to the dereference of a, meaning the value of b, then we print d. Now we print the address of d using backslash and the content of d, which is the dereference of d or a, resulting in b. We execute. We obtain the value of b. The address of b appears multiple times. We also see the address of a and the content of a. We can observe the addresses of the 4 variables and how other prints reference them. We close everything. In example 4, we perform a swap by value. In this case, local scope is used. We open the program and see a subroutine. We then see scalar assignments, the print before and after the swap, and in between, the invocation of the subroutine. The swap subroutine receives arguments using the @ sign and underscore in my. It is an array assigned to variables. We name them A and B, which receive the values of X and Y inside the subroutine. We return the swapped values using return. On the left side of the call, we have X and Y inside parentheses receiving the returned values. Then we print them. We execute and see the original values, followed by the swapped values of the same variables. We close the terminal and program. In example 5, we perform a swap by reference. We open the program and observe the subroutine and scalar assignments. Then we see the print before and after the swap. In the middle, the call sends arguments with \references. In the previous example, there were no references, so variables received values. In this example, references are passed instead. Inside the subroutine, we use a temporary variable to store the dereference of A, then assign B's dereference to A. Finally, B receives the temporary value, completing the swap. This exchanges the values of A and B via references. We execute the program and observe the output before and after the call, confirming the swap. We close the tabs. In example 6, we implement a simple object-oriented programming example. We paste a class diagram to explain it. We open the class diagram. We have a horse class with several methods. One of them is stop, making it abstract. We have 3 beings that inherit from horse and must implement stop. Each being also implements a specific interface. These interfaces add functionality to each being. Pegasus flies, unicorn gores, and centaur can talk. They share a world. The mythological world is the main class that has access to the entire diagram. We open the program with shebang, strict, and warnings. These help avoid reference-related issues. We implement the horse class and its constructor, receiving arguments and assigning them. We use bless to convert a reference into a class instance. Then we define methods, leaving stop abstract with an error message. Next, we declare each interface. Perl does not have interfaces, so we simulate them with abstract method definitions. Returning to the diagram, we implement the 3 beings. Pegasus inherits from horse and the wings interface. We implement its constructor, receiving the color argument, calling bless, and defining methods, even if empty. Next is unicorn, which inherits from horse and horn. We implement its constructor and required methods. Then we implement centaur, inheriting from horse and torso. We define its constructor, call super, set color, and bless. All required methods must be implemented. We then define the myth world class, with a constructor receiving arguments. We declare member data for each being. Then we bless the reference into an instance and return it. Finally, the main class. In Perl, this is not a subroutine but a package. We instantiate the world and print each color. The first segment is dynamically allocated. The second looks static, but Perl does not manage instances on the stack. Note that the world class has member data stored as hash indices, which is why we use braces. We execute and see colors. We close the terminal and the program. That's all for this video. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe. See you next time.